will you clear our elevator? It doesn't sound exactly...
Yep.
I want to go commit suicide.
No, you don't, because the record's great.
Tell me more about how great the record is.
It's great. It sounds like
Is there a hit anywhere?
Yeah, there's a lot of hits.
How many hits?
Well, let me listen to the whole thing first.
Tell me how much you love it.
You got to know when to stop, too. You know, you can start with the amount of tracks that you can record with 48 tracks, 96 tracks. You can start tying tape machines together. And you got to know when to stop, too. You know, how many horns? Is it an organ or a piano? And that's the real difficult part, I think, is deciding what makes it, when you've got enough, and what works.
Skip the bridge. You find that?
Hey, you guys. Yeah, so what are you wasting time for? Just do it and we'll fix it in the mix.
Nobody
Come on, Joey. Ready? One take, we got this. Boop, boop, we're out.
Always ready.
Here we go. Here we go.
Smacking, patty, whacking, walking the street. I got a rag top Chevy now I'm back on my feet. I get an even whole woody when I sit in the seat. Cause I'm ready, so ready, yeah. I got a girlfriend with a hoochie coochie eyes. Cause in the pink she looks so fine. She got the cracker jacks, now all I want's the prize, honey. I know there's hookers down on 42nd Street, but ill-gotten booties. I know there's hookers down on 42nd Street, but ill-gotten booties. Here we go.
When I do punch-ins or overdubs on a record, you know, I go and, just like everybody else, you sit in the control room behind the board with the producer. And, you know, you're kind of sitting here and you've got your instrument here, and immediately right here is Bruce, you know, and he's like staring at you, and you feel his eyes boring into the side of your head saying, come on, come up with your best, let's do it. And then there's Stephen will be right over here, and he'll be ready to go, hey, why don't you, and everybody else is kind of around, you know, like, you know, for moral support. And it's really exciting because, you know, you're on the spot. And, you know, it can, you know, for me, I'm a, you know, bass player. I'm used to having my stuff done, down pat. You know, it's the bed of the song and that's it. But all of a sudden, you know, you're on stage. And, you know, for me, I get more stage fright right then probably than, you know, when I'm out in front of 20,000 people.
Okay, let's keep that. Let's do one more for a little insurance.
Tremendous amount of listening goes on, and a real experimentation starts to happen. Because we record live, the band goes in and performs the song and usually gets it in 1, 2, 3 takes. There's the song, everything's there. The overdubbing process comes in. You know, maybe we'll try a trumpet here, or, you know, you have to get crazy with it. You can't limit yourself. The horizons have to be really far and wide.
write a song like Young Lust, everybody goes, how can you sing a song about young lust when you're 40? And it's like, you know, how are those kids going to relate to that? And it's not about them. It's about us feeling that young lust and allowing ourselves to feel that, you know, and calling in those feelings that you still have when you're 40. You know, I still have. And it's really a tongue-in-cheek kind of song, but it's still, you know, about, you know, that other side of our lives, you know, that a lot of people my age don't allow themselves anymore. You know, they don't allow themselves the pleasure of listening to rock and roll anymore. You know, it's like they start to believe what society tells them about what you're supposed to do when you're 30 and 35 and 40 and 45 and 50, you know. You're supposed to be, you know, it's all defined by what's on TV and all this stuff. And I don't watch TV, so I don't worry about what the Huxtables are doing, you know what I mean? Or what I'm supposed to be wearing, you know. I can tell a little bit when I drive by the yacht club, but, you know, I never go in there.
This is a proposal for our album cover, okay? You gotta tell me your honest opinion. How about Young Lust?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I mean, you could call the album that and have the two trucks, the cover of Young Lust and the two trucks on top of each other, and that would be totally hilarious.
Don't you like that picture of the two trucks?
Everybody loves that picture. Whoever sees it, they go crazy. Especially if you call it Young Lust, because it's hilarious.
But they're two old trucks. But I don't see the rock and roll get the rock and roll thing. Here I see the penis and the vagina, and that's, hey, that's that side of rock and roll. This, the two trucks fucking, is like, whoa. And you
What's
don't
that got to do with rock and roll? I mean, why is that any more rock and roll?
because
than
pumps
that?
is on the side of the truck, and it really doesn't have to mean anything. I painted this picture of how I got somewhere, and I got there by feeding that fucking monkey on my back. And you don't throw those four-letter words, which are in every teenager, I mean every teenager's vocabulary is a four-letter word. Why? Because he can. Same reason a dog licks his balls, because he can. And it's a cool thing, and Mom doesn't like it, but I'm gonna say it because she doesn't like it. And so I use those words because they're very descriptive. It's my orange and blacks and fuchsias in my painting of my art. And no Tipper Gore or any of those people are gonna tell me I can't use that. Besides which, if they agree with me that drugs is a big problem in the United States, and I ought to know because I did them for enough years and killed myself doing it almost. If they agree with me on that, then they're gonna have to listen to me on how to tell my story. Because you're not gonna do it by saying no. Just saying no is like saying, just cheer up to a manic depressant. It's much deeper than that. And so feeding that fucking monkey on my back is gonna make a kid's ears perk up and maybe listen to the lyric. And those 2 out of 10 that are just gonna lollygag along and do nothing are gonna maybe get what I'm talking about in that song. And therefore, doing a lot more to the drug problem in the United States than just saying no. Let's do it.
Then you go into the mixing process, and this is the other nice part. You got this organ part here just doesn't work. You just go, it's out of there. So, you know, the listening, it's the repeated listening and having a vast knowledge of music, too, historically, what works, what doesn't work.
Play the top. Play the top. Okay. Just these sections.
there's two stages of when an album is finished. There's the stage where my stuff is finished, and there's the stage where the album is in the can. It's been mixed, mastered, and it's ready to go. In the first case, I didn't want it to end. I had gone into this project pushing myself harder than I ever had, and feeling the energy from the band and from Bruce pushing me harder than ever before. And it was just this big challenge to see how good a record I could make. And having come to the end of my tracks, I felt that I had played better than ever before, that my tracks were better than any record I've played on yet. And so I just felt this satisfaction and this, not only satisfaction, but I just felt so warmed up. I mean, I was ready to go. I was ready to keep doing this. And all of a sudden, it was time for me to be done.
Oh, that's the greatest time of all. For me, that's like, wow, that's like what I work for all year. If you were to ask me when's the time, most people say, when my feet get on the beach of Maui. For me, it's when it's all finished, and I get on that plane, and I got the cassette right here, and it's a finished product, and I go, wow. Because, you work 6 months on an album, and you spend a year and a half touring on it. It's like a wave, and the surfboard's your album, and you got the wave, and you want to ride that sucker all the way to the shore. And so it's finished, and it's the greatest. It's just that feeling of I'm so elated at that time that it's a scary place, and I can't wait to get on the road or something else, because it really is a void. It's like the eye of the tornado.
Try it one more time.
Well, it's just another chapter in the journey. You know what I mean? It's like, it was a really good record for us. I mean, I can see the flaws in it and stuff, but you're only as good as your next record. So it's just another place to step off to go on to the next thing.
And then it came time when the album was finished, and here was this group of songs, and I knew how I felt about them, but I had no idea how anybody else in the world was going to react to them. I had no idea if we had the album that we needed to get us beyond the point we were at.